Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Betting Insights. I'm Timothy alongside Sergio again, of course. Sergio, welcome.
Hey everybody, what's up then?
Yes, go ahead, smash the like button. Also, if you're new to the show, be sure to subscribe. We are giving out picks for 5 different club competitions across Europe: Serie A, La Liga, Premier League, Bundesliga, and Eredivisie. Now, we are doing this weekly, and I have to say, I actually like what we did last week. Started off well. We recorded early, so we picked up some Friday games. Juventus was a good one. Going on Saturday, of course, Stuttgart, a big upset over Dortmund. We were both on that game. And of course, we faded Real Madrid against Atletico Madrid. Now, Atletico Madrid, they didn't end up winning, but we said smart play, double chance. Sergio, but you and your bet, you of course went crazy and took Atletico Madrid for an outright win. But still, overall, it was a good,
Yeah,
right?
yes, it was a pretty good weekend.
All right. So let's look to continue that this week. And we are going to start with the Serie A. First game on the schedule, Atalanta hosting Cagliari. Atalanta wins set at 1.44. Cagliari wins set at 7.5. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, in this game, I'm only looking at the over 2.5. I think Atalanta will win this game, but I'm not sure because they're coming off a midweek matchup and now they have to prepare for the return next week. So not high on Atalanta winning this week, but I do like the over 2.5. Sergio, where you at on this game?
I agree. They did play uh, during the week, so yeah, I would go for the draw or, like you said, the over 2.5.
All right, so we agree there because of course they played a road game midweek, so kind of tough going back. I know now they're home and still, it was an extra game, and now you got to prepare for the return match. And they lost, so you got to make sure you win the next match. So I guess this may be a look ahead spot where they're not completely focused on Cagliari.
Yeah, and they were pretty irritated after the game, also against Bruges, because it was a penalty that was gifted to Bruges. So I think Bruges is gonna have a hard time next week in Bergamo.
Yeah, I agree. All right, next up, Lazio hosting Napoli. Lazio wins set at 2.85. Napoli wins set at 2.95. Line for Zoro goes set at 2.5. Now, this is a bit of a crazy line. Lazio winning 2.85, Napoli winning also 2.95, and a draw is also 2.95. So this looks like a pick 'em. Man, I'm on Napoli in this game. These teams already met twice this season, and Lazio won both games. I get it. But first of all, it's very tough to beat a team 3 times in one season, especially a good team. And both teams, they kind of score on the same rate, right? So Lazio 45 goals, Napoli 39 goals. But Napoli's defense is much better. So I expect Napoli to come out on top in this game. What are your thoughts?
This is maybe gonna be the first time then. No, I'm a little bit on still on Lazio. Yeah, Napoli, the last 2 games, both draws. Looks like yeah, they're a little bit out of form the last 2 matches. So I'm still on Lazio, and also because they're playing at home, I think it's a motivation to try to beat the same team three times in one season. Um, I'm uh, I'm still on Lazio.
Yeah, I still trust Napoli's defense a little bit more. I don't think you already saw a difference in the second game they played versus the first game. First game, now Lazio won 3-1. Second game, just a 1-0 win. So Napoli kind of adjusting, and I think they'll adjust a little bit more in this game. Um, but it could be a draw. I'm still on Napoli. All right. Next up, AC Milan hosting Hellas Verona. AC Milan wins set at 1.38. Verona wins set at 9. The line from Soro goes 2.5. Now, same thing like the Atalanta game here. AC Milan also coming off a road game in midweek against Feyenoord, losing surprisingly. But in midweek, you kind of were on Feyenoord, Sergio. So where you are then on this game?
AC Milan. I think the game against Feyenoord. Um, maybe they underestimated the Feyenoord. Yeah, the Cape. Really weird things happen there sometimes, and they fired the coach. It was like a new coach bump, so I think that was it. In any other day, AC Milan, could have won the match. So I'm on AC Milan this weekend.
Yeah, but this is also a game where they have to prepare for Feyenoord, the return match next week. So this is another game I'm gonna take the over 2.5 here. I like that a little bit more. I think AC Milan should still win this game, but over 2.5, a little bit more value. And if Verona were to somehow catch AC Milan napping, then well, the over 2.5. And if not, AC Milan could easily score 3 goals in this game. So I'm still on the over 2.5 here. All right. Next up, Fiorentina hosting Como. Fiorentina wins set at 1.97. Como wins set at 3.85. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, I know Como, they kind of gave Juventus some trouble last week. They've been giving some good teams trouble. Also a 2-1 loss against AC Milan, win against AS Roma, and they also beat Atalanta earlier in the season. But on the road, they're not that good. So even though Fiorentina is not in the best of form, I still think at home, good odds, they should win this game. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm a very very good odds actually. I'm going for the Fiorentina this weekend. I think it's actually one of my favorite bets this weekend. I like the odds, and like you said, Como, they did have a few good games, beating a few tough teams. But Fiorentina at home, um, number six. I think uh, I think the number 16 shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, we agree there. All right, next up, Monza Lecce, but I don't have anything for that game. Um, Actually, two awful teams playing that can't seem to score. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I agree. And also, Monza got a beating from Lazio um, last week. So yeah, I'm also gonna skip this one.
Yeah, and the next one, I'm also skipping Udinese hosting Empoli. Udinese number 10, Empoli number 17. So the gap may look wide, but it's not that wide. If you look at the goal difference, Udinese 37 goals allowed, Empoli 35, so a little bit more. Udinese scores a little bit more, but still, I don't think the home advantage gives Udinese that much of an edge. So I'm also skipping that game. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, maybe just to lean towards Udinese. Yeah, but still, I agree. Yeah, difficult to say.
All right, next up. Parma hosting Roma. Parma wins set at 3.8. Roma wins set at 2.07. Line for Torgo set at 2.5. I'm kind of going heavy on overs this weekend, but I'm gonna go over here again on this game. Over 2.5 goals. I'm not high on Roma. Of course, they're a better team, but Roma's playing back to back to back road games. They haven't been good on the road all season, so now 3 straight road games. I don't like that at all. Played on Thursday against Porto. Also received a red card, so played a portion of the game with 10 men. They're not a deep team, so I'm not sure how ready they will be for this game. Give me the over 2.5. I'm kind of fading Roma. What are you doing?
I uh I expected a little bit more from Porto actually. But Roma, they played a good game, especially they played with 10 men a portion of the game. So, but still against Parma, yeah, they need these points. So I don't know, I'm still on the Roma. I lean towards Roma, and I think I'm going to try it.
Yeah, I agree that they need the points, but I'm not sure they will get the points. So I'm sticking with the over 2.5. Like I said, Roma, they haven't been good on the road all season. They have been better under the new coach, but still not good. And three straight road games, bit of a concern for me. So, and coming off a Thursday game where you played for a portion of that game with 10 men. So for all those reasons, fading Roma, taking the over 2.5. All right, next up, Juventus hosting Inter. Juventus win set at 3.4. Inter win set at 2.32. Line for total goals set at 2.5. I'm all on Inter this weekend. Like, I know Juventus three straight wins kind of got out of their slump, I would say. But listen, man, first one against Empoli, second one against Como, and third one against PSV. And PSV sometimes in the Champions League, well, they look like Empoli. So not impressive at all.
Yeah,
I think Inter is a good team, better than Juventus, and Inter more rest. So I'm all on Inter. What are you doing?
um, yeah, but Juventus, playing at home, that should be a huge advantage. And the games, I don't know, I think the last four games they played against each other, Inter won two, and the other two draws. So I think it's time for Juventus win. I'm I'm all for the underdogs this weekend. Uh, I'm uh, I'm going for Juventus.
And I'm not a Juventus. And another note, the last five matches, of course, the last one ended in a crazy 4-4, but the previous four all under 2.5 goals. So that's something noteworthy. Not a lot of goals when these two teams meet up, and that kind of fits the style for both teams. So under 2.5 is also something to look at, but I'm still riding with Inter. All right, next up a Monday game, Genoa Venezia. Nothing for that game. Do you got something?
No, let's get the goal.
All right, that wraps up Serie A. Let's get to La Liga. Now, first game, right out of the gate, nothing for that game. Leganes hosting Alaves. Do you got something there?
Yeah, no, also that.
All right, let's go. Next game, Osasuna hosting Real Madrid. Osasuna wins set at 6.1. Real Madrid wins set at 1.55. Line for total goal set at 2.5. Now, obviously not high value, Real Madrid here 1.55, but sneaky good value. Like Real Madrid also coming off a road game, Champions League, where they beat Manchester City. But Real Madrid, a couple of games ago, they lost to Espanyol. So I'm not expecting a letdown here, kind of too early after the Espanyol loss. They do let some slip some crazy games during the season, but the Espanyol game is still fresh, so I expect them to be wide awake for this game against Osasuna. So 1.55, sneaky good value. What do you think?
I think Real has a problem with the smaller teams in La Liga this season. Winning in the against Manchester City. I think it was a good game. Nice win for Real, but against Osasuna, I have a feeling they're gonna have a problem again. I would rather go for a double chance, or maybe the over 2.5. But I would go for a double chance, Osasuna.
Wouldn't say Real Madrid they've had that much trouble with smaller teams. I get the Leganes game was close, and before that, Espanyol they lost. But man, Real Valladolid 3-0. Real Valladolid is bad. I get it. 4-1 against Las Palmas. A 3-0 win against Mallorca. So they've had some letdown games. I get it, but it's not like all these games where they're playing small teams or kind of close. So I would disagree there. I'm still going over with Real Madrid. All right. Next up, Atletico Madrid hosting Celta. Atletico Madrid wins set at 1.4. Celta wins set at 8.5. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, Atletico Madrid, obviously the better team here at home. Odds kind of speak to themselves, but I think the odds for Celta are a tad bit high, 8.5. Celta's a good team. So my play here is Celta plus 2.5 goals. If you look at the last 4 matchups, 3 of them just a 1-0 win for Atletico Madrid. So also Atletico Madrid, a team that usually they don't score that many goals. So I can see them winning this game by 3 goals or more. So I'm taking Celta plus 2.5. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I'm going for the over 2.5. Um, like you said, Celta a good team, yeah, but yeah, they just won 1 out of 6, So I'm a little bit hesitated only because Atletico, they played against Real. It was a 1-1. So did they play after that? No.
No, that was the
So
last game.
yeah, yeah, it's last game. Yeah, so no, it shouldn't be a problem against Celta, I think. But just to play it safe, I would still go for the over 2.5.
Yeah, the reason I'm taking Celta plus 2.5 because Atletico Madrid, they don't really blow out teams, even lower teams, right? So I know before Real Madrid they won 5-0 against Getafe, but they beat Mallorca 2-0. They beat Osasuna 1-0. Before that they beat Getafe 1-0. Sevilla 4-3. So games, lot of close games against teams that are kind of middling or below middling. So I still think this game will be close. Over 2.5. I don't hate it, but I do like Celta plus 2.5. All right. Next up, Villarreal hosting Valencia. Villarreal wins set at 1.55. Valencia wins set at 6.1. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, Villarreal at home, they've been not great, somewhat solid. The thing I like here is that Villarreal, they score goals, right? 46 goals scored. I keep mentioning that. And Valencia, a team that I know they're very low in the standings. Last couple of games, they've kind of been coming around. 1 loss in the last 3 games, 2 losses in the last 5 games. So 3 wins. They've kind of been scoring goals. So I do expect goals in this game. Looking at the over 2.5 goals here, which way are you going here?
Yeah, I'm just going for Villarreal at home. You can't ignore that. And 1.55, yeah, I'll maybe parlay with another team, but I'm just going for Villarreal.
Yeah, the reason I'm not jumping on Villarreal at home, because if you look at their home record, okay, back-to-back home wins, but that's 2 out of the last 5 home games they've won. Before those 2 wins, 3 straight games where they didn't win a game. And if you go back even further, just 3 wins out of the last 7 at home. That's not a great home record, right? So even though they're playing a bad team, they're not good at home. So just sticking with the over 2.5 here. All right. Next up, Espanyol hosting Athletic Bilbao. Espanyol wins set at 5.3. Athletic Bilbao wins set at 1.76. Line for total goal set at 2.5. Now I like Athletic Bilbao here. Obviously they're the better team. Athletic Bilbao is a good team. Sitting fourth, they don't lose a lot of games. If they lose, usually against good teams. So catching 1.76 for Bilbao here, I think it's great value. Like, don't be scared that Espanyol beat Real Madrid. That's that's about it. They beat
Yeah.
Real Valladolid before that. They had a win against Celta, but if you go back to the beginning of the season at Espanyol, they don't win a lot of games, so I can't see them winning this game. What are you doing?
Yeah, beating Real and losing against Sociedad. Yeah, yeah, so now it's Bilbao. I don't think they're gonna beat the two good teams in let's say the same month. Yeah, so yeah, I'm on Bilbao. Very good odds.
Yeah, I agree there. All right, next up, Valladolid hosting Sevilla. Valladolid wins set at 4.2. Sevilla wins set at 1.97. Line for total goal set at 2.5. Now listen, I get it. Sevilla is not a great team, maybe not even a good team. They're sitting 14th, but I still love Sevilla here. 1.97, I just love them. Real Valladolid, last in the league, of course, a bad team. And if you look at Sevilla, you may look at the goals they've allowed, 34 goals, a lot. I get it. but 17 of those goals were against Atletico Madrid, Barcelona, and Real Madrid. So if you subtract that, that's like half of their goals against the top three teams. I don't think Real Valladolid has enough firepower to even score against Sevilla. So Sevilla should just score once, they get the win. I like Sevilla here. What are you doing?
So you're not on the over 2.5. That's an interesting one also.
Yeah, it's interesting, but I'm not expecting Valladolid to score here. Like I said, half of Sevilla's goals that they've allowed are against the top three teams, so only 17 goals allowed in like 19 games. So less than a goal a game against a team that scores 15 goals in 23 games. I don't think Valladolid scores here. So if you're counting on the over 2.5, that means Sevilla should score 3 times.
No, but I'm on Sophia hesitating, looking at the over 2.5, but I'm on Sophia also this weekend.
All right. I'm glad we could agree there. Like I said, I love Sevilla here. All right, next up, Mallorca Las Palmas, a game I have nothing for. Both teams are really out of form. Mallorca, they didn't win last time, but finally scored a goal again after 5 straight games without scoring goal. Las Palmas, bad form at the moment. Not trusting either team. Are you doing something?
Yeah, I think they're just trying to, fool you or lure you with the odds, but no, don't go into it. So skip also.
All right. Next up, Real Betis hosting Real Sociedad. Real Betis wins set at 2.55. Sociedad wins set at 3.25. Line for Zurgo set at 2.5. Now, Betis, both teams played on Thursday. Betis coming off a loss on Sunday against Celta, in which I told you Celta would win that game. You didn't agree with me. I told you Celta would win. Celta over 2.5, over 1.5 goals and over 2.5 goals for the total game. All three cashed. So, what are you doing in this game?
Yeah, this game could I say I'm on Betis again? Yeah, they played away in the Europa League, was it?
Yeah, against
Yeah,
Gent.
yeah, yes, Gent. Good win, 0-3. Sociedad also an away game against Midtjylland. So I still think the home team has an advantage here. So I lean towards Betis.
Yeah, I agree with you here. Betis, they've lost 2 home games all season. I'm not high on them on the road, but they've lost 2 home games all season. Not sure they have enough to win this game. Like you said, Aline, so I agree there. So I would take a double chance for Betis and just take over 1.5 for the total game. I could see a 1-1 draw here, or maybe a 2 nothing win for Betis, or maybe even a 2-1, but not sure about the over 2.5. So I'm just sticking with the over 1.5 and a double chance for Betis. All right, next up, a Monday game. Barcelona hosting Rayo Vallecano. Now the odds are just so low, 1.19 for Barcelona. I'm not even thinking about playing Barcelona. So only thing you can look at is the over, but it's set at 3.5. Are you comfortable taking the over here?
No, not comfortable at all for the over 3.5. Yeah, Barcelona, 1.19. No, it's a little bit too low. And also the over 3.5, yeah, 1.7. Still low, so I'm just gonna skip this game.
All right. Now that wraps up La Liga. Let's get to the Bundesliga. First game, St. Pauli hosting Freiburg. St. Pauli wins set at 2.55. Freiburg wins set at 3.1. Line for total goal set at 2.5. Now, St. Pauli obviously not a good team, but I think this is a good spot for them. You may look at Freiburg like, oh, they're higher in the standings, but I don't like how they've been playing the last couple of games. 2-1 nothing wins over Heidenheim and Bochum, teams that are not great. So St. Pauli, we know St. Pauli is going to defend, so not trusting Freiburg here, rather on St. Pauli. Are you doing something here?
Yeah, I agree, but only because they're playing at home, St. Pauli, because yeah, they're not great either. So actually, it's a game that can really go both ways. So I'm on, but only for the home team. A lean towards the home team.
All right. Next up, Union hosting Gladbach. Union wins set at 2.35. Gladbach wins set at 3. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, Union, a good win, I guess, against Hoffenheim. Hoffenheim teams that's not great at the moment, not even good. But they scored 4 goals in the last game, and they're still below 1 goal, averaging 1 goal, less than a goal a game, right? So 20 goals, 21 games.
Yeah,
So
that says a
not a
lot.
team I'm really trusting to score goals. Gladbach on the road, not a great team, but still I would lean towards Gladbach. I think a double chance for Gladbach sitting at 1.6 is sneaky good value because I could see a draw here. What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm also on the over 2.5. Yeah, I think this game a draw maybe, but I hope a 2-2 draw.
All right, that would that would push it over 2.5. Now, I do think I would lean towards Gladbach, so that's why I'm taking a double chance for a Gladbach. So not saying it will be a draw. I could see a draw, so but I could also see a 2-1 win for a Gladbach. So over 2.5, I wouldn't disagree with that play. All right, next up, Stuttgart hosting Wolfsburg. Stuttgart wins set at 1.79. Wolfsburg wins set at 4.3. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, Wolfsburg, a good team. I know 3 straight draws, but last 2 were against good teams, Frankfurt and Leverkusen. Now, the thing is, they've been struggling to score goals in the last 2 games. Um, but I'm on Stuttgart here. These teams already met, of course, once this season. This is the second time around. Now Stuttgart's playing at home. They played away in the first game. A 2-2 draw, but Stuttgart kind of dominated that game from start to finish, right? Expected goals 3, had 66% ball possession, 17 shots. Wolfsburg only had 2 shots on goal. And Stuttgart, they even missed a penalty and received a red card, and it was still 2-2. So I'm just going with Stuttgart here at home. I believe they will win the game. What are you doing?
Stuttgart good game against Dortmund, but I don't hope that win is gonna affect them playing now against Wolfsburg. I hope not, because usually that happens when they win a big game. But I'm other than that, I'm also on Stuttgart 1.8. Yeah, they're playing at home against Wolfsburg. Yeah, I'm uh, I'm playing Stuttgart this weekend.
All right, we agree there. All right, next up, Bochum hosting Dortmund. Bochum wins 4.75. Dortmund wins set at 1.7. Line for total goals set at 3.5. Now, we faded Dortmund last week against Stuttgart, which was good. As Dortmund bounced back, of course, in midweek, beating Sporting 3-0. Now, Dortmund, they've been up and down this season, but this is strange, man. They're playing the last place team in the league, Bochum, and they have odds of 1.7. Like, is this like disrespect toward Dortmund?
No, it's not disrespect. I think it says a little bit about their form. It was a good game against Sporting. I didn't expect them to win against Sporting, but they did, and it was a good win. So I think that motivation they'll bring into this game against Bochum, and like you said, Bochum, last, and Dortmund, they need to enter the top 10. It's on Dortmund like to be out of the top 10. So uh, I want Dortmund.
Yeah, I agree there. But I think the 1.7 is just too high. I think they're kind of underestimating Dortmund a little bit too much here. I know they haven't been great this season, but against the last place in the league, they shouldn't have odds this high.
No.
All right, next up, Leverkusen hosting Munich. Leverkusen wins set at 3. Munich wins set at 2.35. Line for total goals set at 3.5. Now, these teams already met twice this season. First home game against at Bayern Munich. Bayern kind of dominated that game. Leverkusen were kind of very lucky to sneak out a draw. The second game was in the Cup, where Leverkusen won 1-0 after Bayern Munich received a red card. Neuer went out with a red card, and Bayern Munich was still competitive in that game. So that kind of concerns me. But I do think going on the road now against Leverkusen, where Bayern Munich, they've had trouble controlling games, especially against good teams. I like Leverkusen here. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I'm also on Leverkusen this weekend. Told you I'm a little bit for the underdogs this weekend, and Leverkusen, I think, all although they're playing at home, still still the underdog here. I think the odds think the same. So I'm on Leverkusen. I think Leverkusen at home could still be the better team.
I agree. And if you look at the last couple of games for Bayern Munich, the 2-1 win against Celtic, I'm like, okay, they weren't great in that game. Their expected goals were below Celtic, so that's a concern. And 2 games ago, also just a 4-3 win against against Holstein Kiel, where they were up for nothing and still it ended 4-3. So I don't like how that game ended. But in this game, like I said, I like Leverkusen. One thing I really like is Leverkusen over 1.5 goals because you can see the total goals is sitting at 3.5. So they're expecting goals here. And well, if they're expecting goals and you expect Leverkusen to win here, over 1.5 goals is obviously the sharp play here.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, Werder Bremen hosting Hoffenheim. Werder Bremen wins set at 1.93. Hoffenheim wins set at 3.85. Line for total goals set at 3.5. Not high on Werder Bremen this weekend, but Hoffenheim, they just suck so bad. I like Werder Bremen here. Are you doing something?
Yeah. Difference between them, point different. Yeah, it's a lot, So yeah, and Werder is playing at home. They, just one win out of 6. Not that confident. Also, I think Hoffenheim won more. So so that says a lot about Werder Bremen also. But no, I don't have anything for this game. I don't trust none of these two.
I would agree there. I would rather skip the game also. All right, next up, Frankfurt hosting Kiel. Frankfurt wins set at 1.34. Kiel wins set at 8.5. Line for total goals set at 3.5. Now, I don't understand why it's 3.5 here. Maybe because Kiel scored 3 goals against Bayern Munich. I guess I think Bayern Munich kind of fell asleep and thought the game was kind of wrapped up. But Kiel, I don't expect them to score a lot in this game. So under 3.5 is what I'm looking at. Of course, Frankfurt at home should win this game, but kind of low odds at 1.34. Are you doing something?
Yeah, a little bit too low. Yeah, the under 3.5 at 1.77. Yeah, I think that's the best way to go.
All right. Next up, that should be the last game. Heidenheim hosting Mainz. Heidenheim wins set at 3.5. Mainz wins set at 2.14. The line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, Mainz not in great form, only one win in the last 5 games, but it was a good win against Stuttgart. Other games, kind of a bad loss against Werder Bremen and Union, so obviously not in the best form. But this man, Heidenheim, is even worse. Now, obviously, they lost the first round against Mainz. They won two. Sorry, Heidenheim won the first round against Mainz. They won 2-0. But listen, man, Mainz received a red card within 30 minutes, and they were still competitive in that game. Maybe even could have won that game. The score ended up being 2-0. But being down one man with more than 60 minutes to play is a tough spot, even though you're playing at home. I think they bounce back in this spot. What do you think?
Yeah, but yeah, Heidenheim did win against Copenhagen
Yeah, right.
in the Conference League. So wouldn't that count for a little bit motivation this game? Yeah, no. I think I agree. I'll try the over 2.5 here.
Yeah, I don't think the over 2.5 is a bad play because Heidenheim, they're a team that they don't really defend that well, and Mainz being kind of down in the last couple of games, they obviously could allow a goal here. So I don't think the over 2.5 is a bad play. All right, next up, let's head to the Premier League. and the Premier League where Chelsea is just getting their teeth kicked in by Brighton, down 3-0, a couple of minutes left, so they will probably lose that game. Nonetheless, first game, Leicester City hosting Arsenal. Leicester City wins set at 11. Arsenal wins set at 1.34. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Have they fired Van Nistelrooy yet?
Nope, not yet. They
Then
still
you
have
should take
confidence, I
Arsenal.
think.
It's that easy. Then you should take Arsenal. Arsenal should win this game. What are you doing?
Yeah, yeah. Arsenal should win. I'm going for the over 2.5. Not too much value for Arsenal winning, what's understandable. So I'm going for the over 2.5. I think Arsenal is going to score at least 3 times.
All right. And well, then I think there's a little bit more value in taking. Obviously, there should be a little bit more value in just taking Arsenal over 2.5 goals. And I wouldn't disagree with you. Arsenal could easily score 3 goals in this game. So taking the over 2.5, obviously a little bit safer if the game were to end 2-1, but Arsenal just over 2.5, also a good look. All right. Next up, Manchester City hosting Newcastle United. Manchester City wins set at 1.96. Newcastle wins set at 3.6. Line for total goals 3.5. Now, City, again, favored. I know they're playing at home, but since City has entered their slump, they've won one game against a team that we could consider good, right? Chelsea. And Chelsea's not in great form at the moment. Other than that, City has been losing to good teams, and Newcastle is a good team. So catching Newcastle at 3.6, and even if you take a double chance for Newcastle, 1.88, it's just great value here, man. What are you doing?
They're level on points, but I still think that City, losing against Real, I wouldn't say that that was a surprise, but they expected more. I thought when they scored the first goal, I thought that they really were thinking that yeah, this is it, the first goal, and now we just go for the second and the third, and but it went the other way. So I think against Newcastle, we're going all the way. So I'm on City.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. But listen, man, allowing 2 goals in the last couple of minutes, thinking, or the players, the fans were thinking they already won a game against Real Madrid, which we should all know against Real Madrid. A game against Real Madrid is actually never over. But still, allowing 2 goals in the dying minutes of the game should be deflated. And now you have to prepare for Real Madrid again. So this is like 3 tough games in a row where they maybe even be looking ahead. So I'm not high on City this game. I would rather take a double chance for Newcastle, 1.88. I think Newcastle has a good chance of winning this game because we all know Newcastle is just going to sit back, defend, try to counter City, and maybe City just they have trouble breaking down, end up losing 2-1 or something like that.
Yeah, but I think City knows that that the Champions League is out of reach at the moment. So
Do
I
they
think
do they really believe
focus
that?
should be on the Premier League, but the
Do they
Champions
really
League.
believe that?
Yeah,
I think,
there are too many good teams in the Champions League at the moment, and City is not one of them.
but I think you could rather turn it around. Like I think a top 4 spot is important in the Premier League because you want to play Champions League next season. But winning the Premier League, but winning the Premier League is just out of reach. Because you're 16 points.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about winning it.
Well, then the only
To
thing
be
you're looking
top
at is
four
a
because that's difficult enough at the moment for City.
all right, but so you're looking at a top 4 finish with which I get now they're outside of the top 4, but still, it's I wouldn't say it's easy to get in the top 4, but you could still focus on the Real Madrid game, let this game slip, and still get into the top 4. And we've seen teams that aren't really good in the league still win the Champions League. Maybe a ball bounces their way. So I'm not sure the players believe they're out of the Champions League. I think they may be thinking like, all right, this is the prize we could win this season, and may still feel like it was a good season.
Well, I think it ended this week with losing against Real at
I
home.
get you have to get on the road, but it's only a one goal difference, man. I get winning at Real Madrid will be tough, but you're only down one goal. So, if you're mentally tough enough, which I'm not sure they are, but if you're mentally tough enough, you should be like, okay, we can beat Real Madrid. And if you're not mentally tough enough, well, then you won't win against Newcastle either way because you're deflated. So, I'm kind of on Newcastle here. All right, but it should be a good game. Next up, Southampton hosting Bournemouth. Southampton wins set at 6.25. Bournemouth wins set at 1.52. Line for total goals set at 3.5. Now, Bournemouth only lost against Liverpool in the last, more than 10 games. So, kind of on a good streak here, and you can't fault them for losing against Liverpool. Obviously, best in the league at the moment. So, and Southampton, of course, worst in the league at the moment. 1.52 for Bournemouth. Sneaky good value, I guess. What are you doing?
Yeah, no, this game, yeah, not much. This is one of the games in the Premier League that I'm gonna skip this weekend.
All right. Next up, Fulham hosting Nottingham Forest. Fulham wins set at 2.23. Forest wins set at 3.55. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, Forest, they lost the first game against Fulham early in the season, just a 1-0 loss. Now Fulham returns home where you would think Fulham should have the edge, but Fulham's not been good at home. Only one win in the last 6 games. Only two in the last 8. So not a good home team, Fulham. I'm looking at the over 2.5 because I do think Forest has a very good chance to upset Fulham here. What are you doing?
Yes, I also think so. Forest, yeah, still the underdog, although they're sitting third in the league. I think people still underestimate them, but they have a good team, play very good football. So the over 2.5, yes, but a lean towards Forest. I think they can really surprise Fulham here.
Next up, West Ham hosting Brentford. West Ham wins set at 2.38. Brentford wins set at 3.05. Line for total goals 2.5. Now, not sure what I'm really mentioning this game because I don't have anything for this game, but I do know that West Ham is one of your favorite teams to bet in the Premier League, Sergio. So, are you on West Ham here? I'm on neither team because both out of form. What are you doing?
No, not this weekend. Not this weekend. Really, really not this weekend. Yeah, no, it's a little bit too close for the comfort.
All right, I get it. Like I said, I'm also skipping that one. Next up, Villa hosting Ipswich. Villa wins set at 1.33. Ipswich wins set at 8. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, I like Villa here. Not great odds, but good odds 1.43. They already played each other. It was a 2-2 draw. But Villa on the road, they haven't been great this season. And Ipswich, well, they've been shocking some good teams. But Villa at home shouldn't be too much of a problem here because Villa is just very good at home. Only 2 losses at home this season. And because you already now picked up a draw the first time around 2-2, so you shouldn't be napping here and should be wide awake for this game. Are you doing something?
Yeah, yeah. I think I'm just looking at the over 2.5. Yeah, I think that's the only way to go for me. Villa win, yes, I think so. But 1.44 is it's a little bit too low. So I'll just try the over 2.5.
I wouldn't disagree with the over 2.5. Villa 37 goals allowed, so obviously not a good defensive team. And Ipswich, well, 49 goals allowed. That should also tell you something. So I wouldn't disagree with the over 2.5. All right, next up, Crystal Palace hosting Everton. Palace wins set at 1.84. Everton wins set at 5.2. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, Palace kind of in great form. Only one loss in the last 8 games. They've been very good under the new coach. And the only loss was, well, you could call it a slip up against Brentford, right? A 2-1 loss. Other than that, they've been very good. So, an Everton team that really struggles on the road and especially struggles to score goals. They won 1-0 against Brighton last time out, but before that, they had 6 straight road games where they only scored 1 goal across those 6 games. So obviously on Palace here, are you doing something?
Yeah, I'm on Palace. And also Everton, they celebrated a draw against Liverpool like it was a championship a game. But okay. Um, yeah, still I'm also on Crystal Palace. Everton, the draw against Liverpool, I think that made their season already. So mm, Crystal Palace win.
All right. Next up, Liverpool hosting Wolves. It's the 1.19 win for Liverpool, so obviously not don't have anything on that game. Over under set at 3.5. Which way are you going?
Liverpool, I think Arne Slot is suspended for 2 games. I think it was 2 games, right? So he's not going to sit on the bench at this game, but against Wolves, it shouldn't be a problem. Over 3.5, maybe too much, but yeah, it's worth a try.
All right, but that's about the only thing you can look at. All right. Next up, Tottenham hosting United. Tottenham wins set at 2.55. United wins set at 2.88. Line for total goals set at 3.5. Now, I know for Tottenham, back-to-back losses against Liverpool and against Villa. But now they return home where, well, they have they've sucked also. So I'm not sure how to make a case for Tottenham here. But listen, man, I know United one loss in the last 5 games, but this is United like. They get your hopes up and they're just gonna drop a dud. And I can see them dropping one in this game, so I would rather lean towards Tottenham here. Like I said, I can't really make a case for Tottenham. They just suck at the moment. Are you doing something?
Yeah, but no, yeah, they suck a lot. A win here can, the team that wins here is surely slowly entering the top 10. But Tottenham, they're also just so bad. I think I'll just go for United. Yeah, I'm still for United. Small underdog here, so I'm on United.
Yeah, listen, man, I would rather play Tottenham over 1.5 goals because Tottenham, well, 48 goals scored on the season, while United just 28 goals. So well, against Tottenham's defense, they should score, but 28 goals is just, it's not enough for a team like United. So Tottenham having scored 48 goals, I think they should score twice here playing at home against United. All right, that wraps up the Premier League. Last up, Eredivisie. First game, PSV hosting Utrecht. PSV wins 1.37. Utrecht wins set at 8. Line for total goals set at 3.5. Now, obviously, PSV coming off a loss against Juventus in midweek, so gotta prepare for that game again. But still, I think at home, I don't think PSV really thinks they can win the Champions League, right? So now you're looking up against Ajax in the standings. So this is a game you can't slip or drop any points. And of course, Utrecht just in horrible form at the moment. And a form doesn't get any worse than losing against Almere City. What are you doing here?
Yeah, losing against Almeida, yeah, I think that was really a punch in the face for Utrecht last weekend. They haven't won in 5 games, so I think that's a little bit worrying for PSV because PSV is not in really good form in the Eredivisie. Also, they have really trouble winning. The last game they won again against Eredivisie club was against Feyenoord, but that was for the cup. And other than that, it was just draws. And I think it was a win against Breda, but just. So, but after that, 2 draws and of course yeah, now I think Veerman is injured. I think Veerman is injured,
He's not.
or he won't play, because it was a really bad game against. He played against Juventus. I think they're gonna bench him this weekend.
He's not. He's not listed on the injury report. Maybe they bench him, which I would get,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
he's
I think
not
they're gonna
listed
bench him.
on the injury report.
Okay, then I guess they're just gonna bench him. And yeah, but difficult one. I would go for the double chance Utrecht.
Now, I still think PSG will win this game, but 1.37 is just too low. So I'm not playing PSG, and I know Utrecht not in great form, but Utrecht still third in the league. So number two playing against number three, 1.37 is just too low to put my money on. So I'm looking at both teams to score. That's sitting at 1.6. And last week you already kind of mentioned it, how PSV, how they keep allowing goals and allow the goal against Willem II. So both teams to score 1.66, 1.6. That's an odd I really like. Much more value than 1.37, although I think PSV will win. I'm just sticking with both teams to score at 1.6. All right. Next up, Breda hosting Feyenoord. Breda wins set at 4.75. Feyenoord wins set at 1.64. Line for total goal set at 2.5. Now, obviously Feyenoord new coach, right? So we know how that this was kind of crazy, getting a new coach after a win. It's just a
Yeah,
little bit crazy, but still, now 2 wins in a row, and of course, new coach bump. Well, it should work here against a Breda team that has been troubling for some teams during the season, but 5-0 loss against RKC. It's just, does it get any worse than that? That's rock bottom, right?
yeah, yeah. That's rock bottom. So yeah, I would just go for a clean Feyenoord win here.
Yeah, I agree there. And I think 1.64 just I think it's great odds for Feyenoord here against a team like Breda. All right, next up, Willem 2 hosting Groningen, a game I have nothing on and will not stake anything on. Do you have something there?
Yeah, no, I agree. Let's skip this one.
All right, next up, NEC hosting Almere City. NEC wins set at 1.54. Almere City wins set at 7. Line for the total goals set at 2.5. Now, I don't know what's going on with NEC at the moment. Almere City is so bad, like you can only look at NEC, and also not sure about the over 2.5 because if Almere City scores, well, it usually ends up being just one goal and a 1-0 win or something. So not sure about the over 2.5. Also, not sure about NEC. They're not in form at the moment. What are you doing?
Yeah, not the form, and I think losing against Groningen, I think they didn't expect that. Also, I think they really wanted to go for the win here. They a good win against Fortuna was and before that against Zwolle, but after that the 3-3 against PSV also good. But then you go out and losing against Groningen, it's disappointing. Almere City, I think that's the game that they'll win again, and Almere against Utrecht winning, nobody expected that. So it was a high for Almere. I think NEC is gonna win a game this weekend.
All right, I'm kind of staying off that game for odds of 1.54 for a team that's really not in form at the moment. All right, next up, PEC hosting Heerenveen. PEC wins set at 2.33. Heerenveen wins set at 3.15. Line for total goal set at 2.5. Now, although I don't really love PEC in this game, I kind of like them because, well, Heerenveen on the road. Do I need to say anything more? They're just really, really, really bad
Mm.
on the road. Also have trouble scoring. You may look and see a couple of wins on the road. And of course, they have a win against Breda and a win against Willem II. That's about their two only wins on the season. In the cup, they also had 2 wins, but other than that, just all losses on the road. All losses. So even though PEC's not that great, not that good, I guess you have to go with PEC here, right?
Yeah, you have to go with Peck, and yeah, but Peck, they did have a good streak. I think a few weeks ago. With also during that streak, it was a win against PSV. So yeah, I think now at home against Heerenveen, I think it's a team who they can start working on a streak again. So I'm on Zwolle this weekend.
All right, I'm also on Zwolle. Next up, Twente hosting RKC. Twente wins set at 1.37. RKC wins set at 7.5. Line for total goals set at 3.5. Now, obviously, RKC near the bottom, but 3 straight wins where they've scored 11 goals. So, kind of catching fire here. But those were against 3 teams that, well, are pretty bad. NAC, of course, but 5-0 was still surprising. 4-1 against Almere City and 2-1 against Willem II. Before that, a 1-1 draw against Sparta. So, is it the competition or is RKC kind of rounding into form?
No, no, they're definitely better than the I think the teams under what 14, yeah, 13 maybe, but they found a form. They found a way that they can really get everything out of the players that they have. But I don't think it's enough for a Twente. Twente is a much better team. Although Twente they played during the week, but yeah, they played at home. So I think RKC, yeah, it's not gonna be too easy for them in Twente.
All right. I'm also on Twente here. At home, should be a win. All right. Next up, Ajax hosting Heracles. Ajax wins set at 1.23. Heracles wins set at 14. Line for total goal set at 3.5. I think 3.5 is a little bit too much for this game. I don't expect Heracles to score, and I think Ajax will just, coming off a road game on Thursday, this should be a slow pace. Maybe they score in the first half, 1-0, 2-0, maybe keep it like that, or if they score late like they've done in a couple of games. So over 3.5, I don't like that at all. Rather go for the under 3.5, and 1.23 for Ajax winning is just too low. So what are you doing?
Yeah. You're right. They played during the week also against Union Saint-Gilles. So I don't think they're gonna, want to give too much of their energy. Although Heracles, they haven't lost in 6, so that's also good. But Ajax, the next game in the Europa League, I think it's at home.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I think they're gonna save a little bit energy. It's still gonna win, but not with a lot of goals.
Yeah, that's why I like the under 3.5, and also 11 straight games for Ajax where we've seen under 3.5 goals. So I don't really even understand the line. All right, that wraps up the Eredivisie, and that wraps up all of our picks and leans. Quick recap for the bets, of course, that we really like. I like Fiorentina to win. I like Bilbao to win. I like Sevilla, Stuttgart, Leverkusen over 1.5 goals, PSV, Utrecht, both teams to score, and Feyenoord to win. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm also on Fiorentina, but I have Atletico Madrid, Celta Vigo over 2.5. Bilbao, Stuttgart, Dortmund, Leverkusen, of course. I have Leicester City, Arsenal over 2.5, City for a win, and Feyenoord.
All right, now that wraps up all of our picks and leans. And listen, guys, like we always say, bet smart, bet with your head, set your limits, and stay within your means. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, good weekend, everybody.